We are live from Virginia Beach and Sydney, Australia. It's a live thing.
Well, I thought you lived in West Virginia.
Oh, wait, so I had my volume on for my other screen. That's a fail. West Virginia.
Well,
No,
I think there's
not.
one thing that we can notice straight away from the stream.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know
What's
what it
that?
is?
Mm-mm.
Eric's very neutral today. He's got the MAGA red on a couple of different things, but also a lot of Democratic blue. So Eric's playing the neutral territory today.
Yeah, to the middle. So there was no after party last week because there was nothing on CW to talk about. And I think we have this week, and then it's back next week, or is it off another week? I think it's just this week.
No, this week's the last non-week, if that makes sense.
And then everything comes back. Well, all the Arrowverse shows come back, and then we have to wait a little bit longer for the Flash.
I think
which I'm still a little nervous about that being on a Wednesday. So
I think it's 3 weeks from tomorrow.
I don't know how I feel about that.
No, 3 weeks in 2 days. Because it's changing days, yeah.
Well, yeah. Cal here says, "Happy Valentine's Day, everyone." Yes, that's why I put hearts in the thumbnail. I was like, let's make it a Valentine's stream.
Oh, I thought that was a message to Ben.
Maybe. Where's Ben at?
Sorry.
Where is he? Let's look at my watch here. Yeah, happy Valentine's Day. It was kind of iffy because I was wondering, I know that different parts of the world is different. Like your Valentine's Day was yesterday, right?
Yeah, so and I had a Valentine. His name was Odell Beckham Jr. because he scored the first touchdown and won me some cash. I was so bricked up. I'm not gonna lie. When it happened, I saw him. I saw his hand go up. I was like, "You better catch that ball," because he had some like Eric beard but hair going on. So I was like, "Please, you better catch this, otherwise."
Did you win big? Did you make any loot off of that?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, more than I didn't. I just went, "Oh, whatever. I'll chuck it on," and then he got it, and I was like, "Oh, I love you, Odell. Will you be my Valentine?"
Was there a response? Did he actually respond to that, or
he dabbed? So okay. maybe that was the response.
I mean, that could be like a subliminal message, like just specifically for you.
Well, if he chalked, then that's a 100% confirmation. So maybe it's like a 50-50. It's like, I'll get back to you, sort of thing.
Yeah. So Cal with the 99-cent super chat. Thank you so much, Cal. I really appreciate it. Hey, Gwendolyn, how are you? Hey, Charles, Justin, Maddie, Lillian, Hero's Journey. Laura is in the house. Jordan is here. Yeah, we got a lot of folks showing up. Yeah, it's a weird stream. It's going to be a chill stream. We are going to go through some news and articles, and we have some fun stuff planned for the end. But yeah, there was no shows to talk about, so there's no after party. The Weekly Geekly was delayed because a combination of Cyber Ninja he's trying to get a new job. I think it's a delivery job or something. I don't know. Anyway, he was doing that, and Omega didn't have a computer until recently. But now that he has it back, we will be doing a Weekly Geekly this week, but it's going to be talking about the whole season of the Book of Boba Fett. That's what that whole stream will be. So, yeah.
I heard potentially, because it's around Valentine's Day, that the name was going to be changed to the Weekly Cheekly for 1 week.
Maybe.
But I don't know if that's still happening because of the delays. So,
Crazy Cat Lady, thank you for becoming a member. I really appreciate it. Check out the perks. I think you were a member before, so thank you for rejoining. If I'm wrong about that, then I've been wrong about a lot of stuff. So Laura, what are your thoughts on the Boba Fett finale? So I won't spoil anything because I'm going to talk about spoilers on the live stream, but I think did you watch the Book of Boba Fett at all?
Yeah, and by the end I think it confirmed that this thing was never meant to exist. I've been saying that since like episode 1.
So the last 3 episodes, the penultimate and the one right before the penultimate, I think were the best episodes of the season, and they were the ones next to the episode 2, which I think was like primarily a flashback episode. They were my favorites, and I think the finale was good, but the finale in a lot of ways jumped the shark on a lot of stuff, and it's fine. There's some extra stuff going on in that finale that I think a lot of people are going to love. There's a lot of stuff I've seen people complaining about. I'll go into way more detail about it, but the only thing Boba Fett did for me is made me excited for the next season of Mandalorian. That's all it really did. I don't know. Did you like Mandalorian? I don't remember if you liked it or you didn't like it.
I like Mandalorian, but I think Mandalorian is just a good show. Like, as I said, I think last time I was on here, like, I don't really care about Star Wars for the most part. Like, I haven't watched any of those animated shows, and I keep people saying like trying to gatekeep Mandalorian and stuff. You have to have watched Rebels and Clone Wars. I'm like, no, you don't, because you know why? It'd be completely stupid to spend all this money making a live action show, and then you expect people to go watch a show that was on Cartoon Network. Like, no, stop. Seriously, hello, open the brain, please. Have a look. Is it working?
Yeah,
stupid. So, and I think that was maybe an issue with because when that blue dude showed up, I was like, who the hell is this blue dude? And
you talking about the gunslinger?
Because then he gets yeeted. Like, I guess spoiler, but it's been out for like a week, so who cares?
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, like, and then he gets yeeted. I'm like, okay, well, I didn't really have to care anymore. Like, I scrolled through TikTok and it's like, why you need to watch this show to understand this character? Next minute, oh, he's dead.
You know what I want to say, because I am a casual Star Wars fan. Like, I watch Star Wars stuff, but I'm not one of those like I don't go into Star Wars like I do.
You were like, I thought you were Star Trek shill.
I am a Star Trek shill. I love Star Trek. Like, I dive into Star Trek. Like, I know so much about that show and that whole franchise. But with Star Wars, I'm more of like a just watch the big stuff kind of person.
Well, yeah, like, I watched it in the theaters. Like, I don't know if this really matters too much, but like, I thought Last Jedi was fine as a movie. I like went, oh, that's random.
The only issue I
get out and all this discourse, like people either love it or they completely hate it, and it's like a civil war. I'm like, what the hell did I feel like that dude that just like crosses the street and there's a gun war going on. I'm like, I'm not a part of this. Like,
the only issue I had was the Leia stuff. I think that was a a little weird, but other than that,
I thought it was like Superman space.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
I didn't get. I thought it was a Star Wars thing, so I went, yeah, okay, maybe I'm missing.
You know, but there are a lot of people that could probably nitpick Star Wars the same way that we nitpick a lot of the stuff we love, and that I'll leave that for them. The stuff you nitpick as well. So we'll leave. I'll leave that to those guys because I don't know enough to do that. So there we go. Crazy Cat Lady with a $10 super chat right away. Thank you so much. And she goes, I don't watch Super Bowl, but I do watch trailers. So do you get another cameo party? Probably. I didn't think we'll ever see Xavier after Logan. So that's tying into the Doctor Strange trailer. I actually have a little page open where I'll be what is that on? I bumped into something under my desk. That was weird. So we'll talk about that in just a bit, but I will say that the Doctor Strange trailer has set the internet aflame. It's just everyone is losing their mind over this trailer. Have you seen both of the different? Because I think there's two different trailers out there.
I saw the main trailer, and then I know when I was watching the Super, because even though I'm not in America, they play like the movie promos that played during the Super Bowl. I think for the most part, and it looked different. I was like, hold on, that looked different than the one I watched on my computer just then. So, but it just showed like a couple different shots. Like it showed like the zombie Doctor Strange, which wasn't in the trailer, at least the close up, I think it was, or something like that. And there was a couple of other things with like Wanda. To me, I thought the trailer was fine. It didn't blow my mind because I'm like, well, what's the movie about outside of like the cameos? Because everyone was just going, oh, Professor Xavier. Like that was the thing that was trending the most. I was like,
yeah.
I was like, okay, well, what else? Because that was my thing that I put like an asterisk on No Way Home. I was like, well, you know, if you take out the nostalgia, what's the movie?
Right.
Like, what would everyone's thoughts on the movie be? So that's what I want to see, because I think it's smart by Marvel to do this. But what are your thoughts on this? Because I was talking to someone about this like a week and a half ago. What happens in like a year and a half's time when they have Shang-Chi 2 or whatever? And now they've opened up the doors with this just cameos galore and stuff and new characters. What do they do when everyone's like, where was the cameos? Where was the multiverse?
I think you bring up a good point, but I think we've already reached a level where a lot of the stuff that's coming out is more revolving around what is everything has been M. Night Shyamalan. Like everybody wants this twist with everything. They want to see something just happen that's going to shock them in every single thing that comes out. And way back when WandaVision was going on, when we were doing the weekly geeklies on that, and we talked about this, it's almost like an expectation now that everything is going to have some huge surprise.
Yeah, it's like an underlying like twist going around, like there's little hints and everything, and then all of a sudden a big reveal when nothing can just play straightforward like a simple movie. Like you don't want every movie to be like that, like simple, but then you also don't want every movie everyone wants to believe there's going to be this big twist, and then you're eventually going to be disappointed because you're expecting Galactus to appear, and it's
Do you think that this
Steve
is
the
going
Chimp or
to
something.
affect the upcoming Flash? Because the Flash movie is also doing a lot of like nostalgia stuff. Do you
Yeah,
think
that's
this is
what
going
I'm
to
worried
overload
about.
people?
That's what
Overload
I'm
people with
worried that the
nostalgia.
Flash doesn't dive too much into. Oh, because it's it's like a multiverse movie to an extent, while also being like a timeline change movie. Bit confusing. I'm interested to see how they make that work or how it lays out. Sorry, but that's my worry about the Flash thing. Like making a movie about the Flash and what Barry Allen goes through and everything like that, and make that the core thing, and make sure everyone knows that. And that's like the main thing that you come out of the movie with, and then everything else is like a sweet on the side, like an after dinner mint or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
dessert. Everything else on the side, but I don't know if that balance is going to be there, and it really depends on how you put together the film as well. Originally, could have been that way, and then it gets changed, whatever it might be.
Yeah. Thomas here says, I think most people are watching Flash for Batman. Do you think that's true or no?
No. No. I think some people will, but I don't think someone's main reason. I don't think majority of people, like, especially if you're a DC fan, is to go see Michael Keaton. I'm pumped to see him, but I mean, it's a freaking Flash movie that we've been waiting, what, like 7 years, 8 years for?
Are you ready for an edgy comment from me? I don't think it's edgy anymore because I've said this so many times.
I don't know why I'd have to be ready. Whenever I interact with you, I'm ready.
I'm over Batman stuff. Like I want to see other characters.
We're in the same thinking. Like once again, I was having a chat with someone yesterday about it. Yeah, it was yesterday, because all these trailers were coming out, and they said, "Oh, did you see that new DC thing?" I'm like, "Yes, I saw it. Are you an idiot?" Like that Heroes thing.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Oh," and that because they said, "Oh, Black Adam looks good." I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm excited for all those movies. And then they asked me, "Oh, what about the Batman?" I was like, "Look, I think it's going to be good, but if this got delayed 3 years, I wouldn't give a shit."
Yeah.
Like, and that's not me saying I'm not looking forward to the movie, and I don't think it's going to be good. It's just that out of these other movies, I couldn't care whether this was the first one or the last one to come out in the slate, because I'm looking forward to everything else over the Batman. Just because we've had so much Batman, especially this version of Batman, like, oh, ultra grounded. I'm like, making comic book Batman, not graphic novel Batman. We were comic book Batman, not graphic novel Batman. But some people will, and that's not me attacking you if you want that version. I'm just over it because we've had now 3 versions in a row. And fair enough to Snyder, he tried to do it, but it really he was adapting his version from a graphic novel.
Right.
So that's why I'm looking forward to that other stuff, because it actually feels like you're stepping into those DC comics, especially from what we saw. So yeah, like I'll see the Batman. I already booked my tickets for it.
I mean, it's going to be my birthday movie. I'm going to see it for my birthday, but I've said this before, and Thomas, I'm going to answer your question here as well. I saw the photos. I love Michael Keaton as Batman. I think he's a very specific type of Batman. So I'm curious to how that Batman is going to work in the Flash movie and then on Batgirl. So there is curiosity for me to see what they're going to do with this classic Batman. But overall, Batman as a character is getting, I don't want to say, I guess saturation is the best way to put it. Like, I feel like DC has this pot of ideas, and everything has to have a vein connecting to Batman, and I don't understand the obsession with. Are they it's not very comfortable like with the other stuff? Like, well, that's true.
If you see like a new team come about, like Batman's connected to it at the very least at the beginning.
Yeah. But do you think that some of the characters, like we have this Gotham Knights show coming up, and I guess we should go. Let me go ahead and I'll pop this up on the screen. We'll talk about this now. We have this Gotham Knights show coming up, and we saw some news about it, about some of the characters that might be coming to the series. And I mean, I know this is a Bat Family series, but the one thing I can say about this that I think leans more into like excitement is I like the idea of a show that is going to give us new characters that we really haven't seen that much of. Like, I like the idea of Spoiler being in a live action show. I'm not too keen on another Nightwing. I mean, we have one that everybody loves on Titans, so I'm not too sure about that. We also have Bluebird possibly coming. Was there some other like characters that, I know you did a video on this, but there's some other characters that were hinted that were coming to this Gotham Knights series that we haven't talked about?
Tiffany Fox, who's the girl on the right there with the pink bat symbol, who's like a future Batgirl.
That was the one that a lot of people thought was going to be Javicia's character in season 2 of Batwoman, right? They thought that's
Yeah, especially because she was like Tiffany Fox, daughter of Lucius Fox, could be the long lost sister of Luke, whatever it might be. And then they had like Joella Dent, who goes by quote unquote Joker's daughter, like that's what she refers to herself as.
Yeah.
And then there was someone else. I think those are the things. But the thing that caught my eyes this morning, I saw that they're not starting production on this until April.
Yeah, I saw that. It starts in
pilot.
April.
That's really late for a pilot.
Especially one that's coming very soon.
Well, that makes me think that if they premiered it, it wouldn't be coming out till January next year. So a year, like just under a year from now. So that makes me think it's a 13 episode. It'll be a mid-season premiere. Maybe they might do something.
So you're thinking like something after the break in December, right? Like something in January or February?
Well, just a mid-season premiere. Like Legends used to always pretty much be a mid-season premiere for its first few seasons. Like Superman and Lois was now for 2 years in a row. Stuff like that.
Well, it's not just Batman, Thomas. It's Bat adjacent properties.
It's stuff where they constantly mention Batman and go off his stuff. The thing that could be different with this is that like I'd assume that maybe like Nightwing's the only one that actually knew Bruce. But then again, that's sort of the same with Titans as well.
Yeah.
But Bruce is alive, I guess, there, so it's a bit different, but
yeah, but we've talked about this before. The thing that's going to be confusing about this is if this gets picked up, there's almost 100% chance it's going to get paired with Batwoman. And since it's not connected to the Arrowverse, it's going to be very confusing. The same way
it'll
that
be
Naomi
Naomi
is going to be
2.0.
confusing. Yeah, pretty much. Justin, you say Batman sells, but does that mean that that we always have to just accept as comic book fans that Batman is going to be the only character we ever see?
You know what else sells?
What's
McDonald's shouldn't eat it for every meal.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, okay, so are you ready for the Marvel shilliness to come out? Are you ready for that to come out?
It's like with The Edge. I'm always ready.
Okay, so the one credit I have to give to Marvel with the Eternals movie is even though it wasn't great, at least they tried something that was risky and different. The Joker movie that we got, even though it was the Joker, it was a risky version of the Joker. So I give them a little bit of credit for that. But outside of that, I want to see more risk from DC where they're trying things that aren't just connected to Batman. Like, look at Shazam. Shazam was a fantastic movie, and it did not rely on Batman at all. Aquaman, fantastic movie, did not rely on Batman at all. But now we're coming into 2022, and everything is relying on Batman. I hope that these movies like Black Adam, which looks amazing, by the way. You saw the Black Adam footage, obviously.
Oh, I cannot wait for. I hope it does so well, and they greenlight a JSA movie straight away because the JSA looked awesome in that. Like Hawkman looked amazing. Dr. Fate was a 10 out of 10. Atom Smasher looked good, and you could easily make him look goofy, as well. And they. Like even like, funnily enough, probably the weakest part in that trailer was probably Black Adam, and that's just because he didn't have like a ridiculous like action shot. I guess it was more like him speaking dialogue, and that was about it. But even then, it wasn't bad. So like, I just hope this stuff. Like I expect the Batman to make $1 billion, especially based off these opening number predictions in America alone. But I just hope that. Like people go watch Black Adam, you know, like I think the Flash will make $1 billion. I think the Flash is $1 billion movie. People will say, "Oh, it's going to flop and stuff." I don't see why it doesn't make close to $1 billion, and I might be completely wrong, but I think it will make $1 billion.
Yeah,
and I hope it does. I hope it exceeds it by a good amount. And like Aquaman is probably the flip of the coin because it was like a surprise $1 billion movie, and now it's got a lot to live up to. It's not like it made 600 and now it can make $1 billion. It already made the $1 billion, so you don't want to drop below the $1 billion for your sequel. But yeah, and then even like Shazam 2, I can't wait for like all these movies. Like even Blue Beetle, you haven't seen anything for. I'm looking forward to.
But see, that's the thing is that's why I feel like this saturation of Batman is probably they need to move away from this a little bit, and it's mostly on the TV side. I think the TV side is a bit more pushing towards that kind of like everything has. First of all, I know people are going to hate to hear this. Batman and the Bat family characters are probably the cheapest things to put on television because it's a lot of it's hardly any CGI, a lot of grounded stuff, very detective oriented. These are things that they can get a high return on with low investment, and that's why you see a lot of it on the TV side. Now, Silhouetted Animator here has a $5 super chat, and he says, "While I know Gotham Knights isn't Arrowverse, I'm shocked they're reusing characters, but Batwoman, but recasting. What's the point? It's not really a recasting because it's just not in the Arrowverse. So
there's just Multiverse, another version.
It would be even more confusing if they use the same characters. That's
it'd
why
be very
they have
similar
to
to how like Batwoman's using the same Renee Montoya from Gotham. It's just like, well, they meant to be the same version. Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, it's confusing a little bit. Plus the fact that if they were going to use, say for example, they want to use I don't know, Batwing on this Gotham Knights show, that means that Cameras would have to double duty filming both shows, and that's not going to happen. This is the same reason why in Legends of Tomorrow, Matt Lesher did Eobard Thawne while Tom Cavanaugh was still filming The Flash, because you can't film double duty like that. So that's the primary thing, is they just don't have the ability to do that. I know a lot of people are excited about this Gotham Knights show, and I'm not trying to downplay the excitement at all, but for me, it's just okay. It's just okay. I mean, it might be fantastic. Maybe it's going to be great. Maybe my mind will be blown. But right now, it's just okay for me. So I'm hoping that it's going to be really good, because we do know that it's been made. So here's the thing. Do you think it'll get a season pickup regardless of pilot?
I'm not too sure, to be completely honest. Like, I'd be surprised they didn't pick it up. I mean, it's not just the fact that it's a Batman oriented show, but it's got Gotham in the title. I mean, it screams like easy pickup.
Right.
And also it's important to remember, like with all these shows, like they go to HBO Max after. So if they can put some cool animation stuff on a HBO Max thing, then I mean, it seems to me like it's an easy choice for them to pick it up.
Yeah, and it's also, again, I think a cheaper show.
Yeah.
Scott Edwards, $4.99 super chat. What are your theories on the next two villains for The Flash season 8? Do you think there will be a 10-year anniversary crossover event? So I saw a lot of people talking about this 10-year anniversary.
I blame myself. I was the one that started, and I'm 99% sure, and I regret I ever did.
Because now everyone's talking about it.
Ben's made 3 clickbait videos about it, so now that's why I regret.
I've avoided it because I haven't seen anything on the network side where it seems like they're planning anything yet, and I don't want to hype myself up for something that they haven't even teased. So I don't know if we're going to get something. I think we will get something.
I don't think it's.
I don't know. Go ahead.
Dream scenario. It's like a crisis, like sort of fan made, not fan made, but like crisis level thing for fans. Like in regards to, oh, that's really cool seeing these characters come back. That's in a perfect world. Like, I don't know what happens. Like, you got to create some sort of story around it and to allow that certain thing to happen. I think we just bring your expectations down, because you don't even know if they're going to do it as well.
Right.
Because one of the biggest issues as well now that it really needs to be remembered is the splitting of these shows. Like, some go to Netflix still and some go to HBO Max. So at the end, if someone's binging, say, Batwoman or Superman Lois, then they get to the crossover portion, they have to go over to Netflix to watch the other ones, or they just miss half of the story or whatever it might be. So it's very important to remember. And also, as we know, the shows air at different times now. Like, they'd have to line it up perfectly, and that's easier said than done, especially in regards to allowing one show story to play out without just randomly stopping in episode 2 or something to include this crossover.
And we also have to remember, one of the things they mentioned like a couple years back when they were doing these crossovers is it's sort of a trick to get a movie out of the shows by assigning episodes to the crossover. So that would mean that a show would have to basically annex their storylines, their big storylines, for one episode so that they could dedicate it to this big event.
Well, in my opinion, the easiest way to do it is just do episode 1 of each season.
Yeah.
But that you're relying on all the shows to premiere at the same time.
Yeah.
Unless you do it where it's like episode 1 of some shows and maybe the mid-season premiere of other shows. So say Flash airs its first 8 episodes or something, and then episode 9 is their crossover episode, and it's in early January. But then it might be episode 1 for Batwoman season 4, episode 1 for the next season of Legends, maybe episode 1 for Superman and Lois, or it could be episode 9 for Superman and Lois, whatever it is. That's maybe how you can make it work. But as I said, I think it's still that aftermarket thing with the streaming, when like half of it's going to be on HBO Max, half of it's going to be on or some of it's going to be on Netflix. It just split up. That could be the issue. Because even with Crisis, like I think it was all the episodes were on Netflix except for Batwoman's. Batwoman's was on HBO Max, which was the middle episode. I'm pretty sure. I think it was episode 2 or 3.
So you couldn't even watch the whole thing on Netflix. You'd have to
no, you couldn't even watch it all. You had to first episode. Okay, wow, what a cliffhanger. Where's episode 2? Oh, it's on HBO Max.
Right. But on top of that, if you're watching Batwoman, you'll have this random episode that has all this other stuff going on, and you're like, what is this? Yeah, it would be very confusing. As far as my theories on the next 2 villains for the Flash season 8, I'm gonna say Reverse Flash and maybe Cobalt Blue. I love Cobalt Blue to bleed air, but I don't know if that's what's
wait, can we get so I don't know if Eric's heard this news. Can we get a live reaction to your knowledge of Eric Wallace directing an episode of this season of The Flash?
That's my live reaction. Not happy about it. What did he direct any episodes before? Or is he
I think this is his his directorial debut, at least in the Arrowverse.
Is it? Please tell me it's a interlude episode.
No, I think it's like episode 15 or 16 or something.
Oh no, so it's towards the end.
At the end of the season.
It's towards the end. Silhouetted animator with a $5 super chat. I guess what I'm saying is it's going to be confusing to have 2 Batman shows on it. Absolutely, especially when they're in the same city. Like at least Naomi and Superman and Lois happen in different places, so it's
especially when they most likely put them on the same night. Bat night Sunday CW.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not connected, but we'll pretend like that.
We're gonna market it like they are. Multi-topic talk with a $5 super chat. Hey guys, looking to expand my library with DC Comics. What would your top 10? I can't do a top 10. Top 10 favorite DC comics I could find on Comixology. Well, Comixology things come and go, but they have most of the stuff that you can find. I like a lot of Justice League stuff. I find all the Justice League titles to be interesting because you kind of get a little bit of all the characters. And loving pretty much anything Flash. Some of the older Constantine stuff is good, like the first run Constantine series. I have that in a graphic novel as well, in paperback. So I enjoy that one. I really, really like the big events, like the Crisis events. They're fun. You can just kind of read them all there on the on Comixology. And probably, this is probably going to sound weird because I'm not too happy with the show, but I actually like the Naomi, the first run of Naomi. Those first 4 or 5 episodes or issues are really good. I enjoy those. I would say they're worth reading. I'm not going to say you have to watch the show, but the Naomi comics are pretty good. Anything on your list that would be different from that? You probably say Green Arrow, right? Some Green Arrow comics.
No, I'd say like Identity Crisis. It's probably a good one. Especially if you get like the absolute one, which has all some of the side stuff. It's a thick bitch, as I would say in France. Maybe like JSA by David Goyer and Jeff Johns. That's a good one. That's a long read though, if you read that entire run.
Metal went on too long for me. Yeah, I didn't. I was like after about the 4th or 5th run.
I think they just lost where they were going with that one.
Yeah.
If you can just look at like Justice League reading guide, you'd probably find some good storylines there, and then you get to learn a lot about all the individual characters through that as well. And then for learning about Flash, probably just go like Flashpoint and Flash Rebirth, like
Flash Rebirth,
like 2009, I think it is 2008.
That's got really good artwork too. Like if you're looking for some really good artwork, the Flash comics have some really great stuff in the Flash Rebirth. So,
and then for Superman, like All-Star Superman, Green Lantern.
What about the Super Sons? Did you read any of that? I read the first couple issues of.
I think I might have, but I can't remember if I ever did. And then with Batman, like it's like it's the standard ones like Long Halloween and
Mm.
maybe some New 52 with Scott Snyder, but even then it's a long read and some of it's not that great as well.
Scott Snyder is very dialogue driven in his comics, so
yeah.
not
So if the
bad.
storyline's not overly captivating, you can just sort of like go.
Yeah, pretty much. Scott here with the 99 super chat. I think it might be easier to do an event like Armageddon all on one show, similar to Armageddon for the 10-year anniversary of Black Lightning, White Canary, and Superman. Okay,
But
so they couldn't do that though
it's the same issue.
because
Which show's taking the bullet?
yeah, the Flash got that event because it was a show that made it easy for them to bring. The only person that came in that was from another show that's still on the air was Batwoman, and she was there for like
Nothing.
5 seconds.
Yeah.
So a crossover event, and this is why I think, looking back at it now, I think the reason why they didn't want to call it a crossover event is because Batwoman was the only character who's still on a show that was crossing over, and she was in one episode. So I think that's why they were trying to like keep the fans' expectations low for it being a crossover, because they didn't want to like mislead people. I still consider it to be a crossover, but if we're talking about with other shows that are on the air, you couldn't just give it to one show because that would not be fair to the other shows.
No.
So I don't think they would ever do that. As a fan, I would love that. It would make it very cohesive. It would make it very easy to watch, but I just don't think that they would ever take away from the other shows by doing that. So, all right, we're going to jump over and look at a photo. One photo here. Actually, a lot of people were asking me about this, and I thought it'd be fun to talk about it. So we've already seen the trailer for Moon Knight. Moon Knight looks great to me. I think it looks like it's going to be awesome. Moon Knight is one of the characters that I know has a huge following, but I know the bare minimum about the character. I don't know a lot about Moon Knight. I need to go in and read some of the more recent comics. But what did you think of this photo, and what did you think of the Moon Knight trailer in general?
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it. Once again, like, I'm not dying to see. There's actually not that many stuff I'm like dying to see because I'm a pretty patient person. I can wait. Like, I'm not impatient, but I guess welcome to the 21st century. Everyone's impatient now. But I think it looks cool. I sort of wish. I don't know if it's just like maybe the lighting or it's the filter, but it sort of makes the suit not stand out that much.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only issue I have with this photo, but it just might be this individual photo because some of the other stuff from the trailer, the suit looked like it popped out a lot, but here it just looks like it's a dude in a white suit.
Because I think this was the photo taken on the filming of the scene, probably.
I'd assume, or it's like, as I said, it just could be the lighting, like because it's in like a dark area and it's not meant to pop out that much or whatever it might be. But if you like, I've read a couple of the Moon Knight things. There's one from like the late 2000s, which is a good run, and then I think there's one from like 5 years ago or something like that. And if you read, I can't remember what they are. Like, what are they freaking called? I can't remember. I don't have my iPad near me. Like, my iPad's in my bedroom.
Right,
so,
right. It's fine.
But like,
you could
those two runs, and
Mhm.
they're not even that long. Like, one's like 20 issues, I think. Which 20 issues might sound a lot, but it's nothing. Especially when like half the pages are just like a picture without any words. But they explain like all of his like the multiple identity disorders, and you meet all the different versions, and you meet Mr. Knight, who this dude is, as well as just General Moon Knight and all these different things as well. And is it Khonshu, I think his name is, which is like the Egyptian god. You get all that stuff, and it'll literally take you like 3 hours to read all of it. You'll know what you need to know about Moon Knight to head into this show.
And do you think that the similarities with Batman that a lot of people are seeing, do you think that's going to hurt the show or help the show?
I don't know. Like, I mean, most comic book characters are a copy of either side.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think it really matters too much.
I mean, this is like if Batman were somebody with mystical powers. That's kind of what it's supposed to be. As far as like surface level, the way people see it. But I do believe, from what I know in the comics, the story has similar things, but then it's very, very different once you get past that. Like, this is who the character is.
I think from this they're doing that standard, like we pick up in the modern day, and then you sort of like maybe through the different identities relive the backstory and the origin of how he specifically became Moon Knight.
MC
he
Brooks
was like a
says he's more like
mercenary as
Azrael
well.
than Batman. I guess I could see that.
So like I'm interested to see how they go about it.
So Lillian, Kevin Feige has said that it's going to be rather graphic, I think, compared to
They gave it a
shows.
They gave it a TV 14 rating, which means you can sort of like I think it's like that's like the step below. Like I don't think they're going to be dropping F-bombs and stuff. So I think it's like in regards to maybe like the violence and stuff, it might be similar to the Netflix shows, sort of. Like they'll show blood, you might hear bones snapping or something like that.
Right.
But I don't think you're going to see like sex scenes or swearing or anything like that.
So you're thinking like more violence, but that's about it. Just more like graphic.
I think it just might be like a blood warning, maybe.
Yeah,
that might be what it is. I don't think it's not gonna be like decapitation, head on a spike, or something like that, guts falling out or whatever it might be.
All right, continuation on the Marvel news. A lot of people have been talking about this in the chat, so I thought I'd just go ahead and get this out of the way. So Daredevil and the other Marvel shows are leaving Netflix at the end of the month, basically the end of February, beginning of March, and there's no word on where they're moving yet. This surprised me a little bit because I know that these shows were basically produced by Netflix, and so it's a little confusing, but then they lose the rights to it, so they can't continue to distribute the property because they don't have the rights to these characters anymore. So do you think that Disney will find a way to put these somewhere else, like maybe on Hulu or something like that?
Well, the only place it could go is Hulu, especially, well, all of them, really. Maybe except Defenders. Defenders might be the only one that doesn't need to go to Hulu. But yeah, so I'd assume that's where it's gonna go. But like everywhere outside of America, the Hulu version is on Disney Plus. Like you open up Disney Plus, it has all the shows there. It's just that you have to be over 16 or 18 or something to open the shows or something.
Yeah, Justin, but the distributor can lose distribution rights. That's happens all the time. It just matters on the production side where they can actually put the show. And they have to work out a deal with that. And with Daredevil showing up in Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm assuming they're going to want to try and keep it connected to the other shows. But
I think they said it. I think Daredevil's in an Echo show, which I think starts filming they might be filming now, or it's about to start filming.
So also, let me say this. I saw a bunch of clickbait articles about the working title for Echo being changed, and people lost their minds because the working title for Echo is Grasshopper. And a lot of people don't realize a working title is a production title. It's something like when you're filming in a building, it'll say like filming Grasshopper because they don't want people to know what it is. So that leaked out and people are like, they're changing Echo to Grasshopper. How many other things have you known over the years that have had like a working title that's something ridiculous? I mean, it happens all the time. I just thought it was weird that people were losing their minds over that. I'm like, they're not changing the show to Grasshopper. So
no, like Aquaman's working title was Ahab.
Yeah.
The bunch of them have. They all do. Like anything that's big, because it's not necessarily about like some pro sleuther who goes around sets. It's about your random Jack and Jill that are walking down the street that don't see, oh, they're filming the Batman here. Instead it'll say they're filming like Dark Interlude or something is the name of the movie. It's like, well, I don't give a shit about Dark Interlude. Never heard of that crap. But it says the Batman, they're going to be curious and want to go and whatever it might be. So it allows them just to sort of potentially do their own thing through that faux potential, what do you call it? Production name.
Yeah. We got some interesting news about Javicia Leslie. She's going to be in a movie.
Not Breakfast at Tiffany's, just something from Tiffany's.
Something from Tiffany's. But the thing that it's a rom-com and it's based on a novel. But do you see this as being like problematic for her moving forward with her contract? Like if she ends up becoming like a movie actor versus like a TV actor, and
yeah, but it's also like just a rom-com that who else is in it?
Let me see. Let's see. Jojo T. Gibbs, Cheeto Nawacha, Stephanie Shepard, and Michael Rourke.
I haven't heard of any of them, so it's probably going to be maybe like a.
And it's also got Zoe Deutsch. I don't know how you pronounce that.
Oh, there you go. I know Zoe Dutch or Deutsch.
Yeah, Zombie
Judge.
Land. I don't know. Anyway, a lot of people were saying this could mean that coming up for contract negotiations, she may
I
want
think,
more money.
yeah, but it's important to remember, like, these movies, like, they take no time at all to film. But they're not a Hallmark movie length. They're a bit longer than that, but they're not like. It just means that she's not going to really have that much of a break.
Yeah, but that's on her though, right? Like that's her decision to make.
Well, yeah, like remember when Stephen Amell did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? He did that in the hour, and then like he was drained.
Yeah,
because he went and did another action movie.
What a opportunity that could have been amazing that just did not go that direction for him. Because the movie didn't do that well. So it's like, oof.
Well, the thing is, they didn't want him to play. They didn't want him to play his version of Arrow, but that's who Casey Jones is.
Yeah, as a character, that's who he is. He is Oliver Queen from Arrow.
Yeah. So like, I don't know why. I thought that's why they cast him. And I was like, oh, because they know he can play Casey Jones. And then he just wasn't Casey Jones.
Yeah,
which isn't his fault. Obviously, he was told it's the director's fault, whoever it was. Was it Michael Bay? I think it might have been.
Maybe. I think it was actually. Well, he wasn't might not have been the director, but he's definitely the producer. All right, so I want to get your opinion on this shiny new photo of the Flash suit. Not the one from the poster, because I think that one isn't a good resolution, but this one. And there is two shots of it. There's one with like these yellow lenses in front of it, but this is the actual like design of it. What do you think of this suit so far, or what you're seeing of it?
It's hard to tell because we actually haven't seen a proper photo of it, because even this isn't a proper photo. It's him leaning over about to run. Mm-hmm. I like his running pose. It maybe looks like it might be a bit better than whatever we saw in the both Justice League movies, but
I agree.
And I wonder if this is like the final shot of the movie.
I'm going to say I'm a little bit worried about the way this helmet fits on his face. It looks
I think it looks fine here, but then we have that other shot from that first look. And I don't even know if this is the same helmet. That's what we were talking about this. Mm-hmm. I'm confused whether he has two suits or not, because here it sort of looks different than the helmet in that. It looks like it's two different helmets and two different suits. So I'm like, does he start off the movie and then maybe he gets into Flashpoint and it's damaged or something? I'm not too sure what happens, because I just feel like there's two different suits or something like that.
This gives me, but you know what this helmet gives me? It gives me season 5 Flash helmet. That's what I'm getting from it. It's just a little bit shinier, but it still feels disconnected from the suit, which is what I really love about the Grant suit we have now. Is it's all the same material. So it all looks like one thing. Because if you had this helmet and the suit was the same shininess as this helmet, I think it would be okay. Or vice versa. This weird like texture on the suit, if that went into the helmet, I think that would be okay as well. But I'm getting a disconnect. It's almost like if you look at this picture, it's almost like the head is stuck on the body. It doesn't look like one thing to me.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing the CGI suit.
It reminds me of Green Lantern, the Green Lantern movie.
Yeah, like that. Like, I'm gonna wait until you get a proper thing, like because even then they still haven't really shown a massive close-up shot of everything. Like here it sort of is, and even that first look, you could tell the CGI wasn't done. So it's a risk going with the full CGI suit, especially with a color like red as well. Mm-hmm. Like you can get away with like black and like toned down colors, but when it's a red and like you're lighting it up with all these like, you know, the yellow lines and everything like that, it can be a bit risky. But I do wonder, and this would be really cool if it does happen in the movie, whether his flash ring makes the suit materialize on him. So it doesn't shoot out of the ring like we have on the show and in the comics. It just materializes on him from the ring, which would be pretty cool. But then his gloves sort of don't look like that same material.
The gloves look like actual gloves.
The gloves look like a glove that like the Flash would wear, really. With maybe like some stuff on the knuckles that he'd lean on when he starts off or something like that.
Yeah. Would you say, okay, so based on this, just what you've seen on this photo and what we got in the Justice League movie, do you think so far that this looks better than that suit, or are you still?
Yeah, because this actually looks like a Flash suit.
Right.
Doesn't look like someone like glued themselves and then jumped in a trash bin.
Ooh. So the Snyder fans are going to come after you for that one. That's pretty hardcore.
Well, the fact that you laugh, it's true. So
I didn't say it wasn't. I'm just saying. Robert Blake says ideal Reverse Flash movie casting. Who was the original Reverse Flash? I forget now.
They didn't cast an original Reverse Flash.
I thought there was a rumor about somebody that was cast as Reverse Flash.
There was heaps of rumors, but they never actually. There was never actually.
I don't know. I have no idea who I'd cast as Reverse Flash. I mean, the reality of it is, in the comics, Reverse Flash for the most part has always just been. He just looked like Barry Allen, at least the more iconic versions, because he's made himself look like Barry. So, I guess for me, I would be okay if they just made it an evil version of Ezra. I mean,
I don't know. I don't think you'll get Reverse Flash in this movie. You might. They could be surprise casting. You never know.
mhm.
But I think you'll get like the whole Barry reliving, very similar to the TV show. Like, or maybe there's like they do something where maybe he never saw like a yellow blur, but he found his mum dead and under very suspicious circumstances that didn't seem, and there was no like human, like what do you call, like evidence left over or whatever it is, like fingerprints or shoe prints or
Mhm.
fingerprints on a knife or whatever it might be that killed it,
Mhm.
killed his mum. But I'm interested to see how they go about it, because obviously, like, you see how people compare like DC and Marvel, like, oh, imagine the field day if people want to hate on the movie or whatever it is when they compare it to the TV show.
Mhm.
Oh, the TV show already did this.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just copying the TV show.
There's no way that this movie doesn't get compared to the TV show, no matter what. There's no way that doesn't happen. It's just that's the way it is. Okay, so this is an interesting question, but I would say, did you see what 4 movies are coming out? I mean, we got the Batman, which is almost guaranteed to print $1 billion for the
If not
the
one and a
movie.
half, maybe.
Aquaman looks amazing. Black Adam looks amazing. And this Flash movie, regardless of what people think about it, this is going to do really well too. So I don't think DC is dead. I think they might be spreading themselves a little thin, with a lot of the Batman stuff. But I think we have 4 really good films coming out this year. I don't see any weakness in any of the movies coming out this year. Do you see any weakness in them? I don't really see any weakness in them.
As I said, I think the only weakness is maybe Aquaman, that's because it reached $1 billion.
Yeah.
So now it actually has it sort of has a target that it has to get before, because it opens itself to criticisms like, oh, it was a fluke.
Mhm.
So that's probably the only pressure I think that's on a movie that you can maybe, portray as a weakness, is the fact that it has to meet that. But the thing is that the movies just have to be like, I don't expect, Black Adam to make $1 billion. It'd be cool if it did, but I don't expect it to make $1 billion. I think I'd be happy with.
But what's funny is,
600
haven't you said in the past that you find that era of superheroes more interesting than the more modern era?
The Justice Society is a much more interesting group of heroes than the Justice League. They should be trying to focus on group movies as the Justice Society. And you can bring in and out characters, and sure, you can do a Justice League movie, but maybe make Justice League movies like, a very special thing every now and then, or maybe the Justice League is together in certain movies that aren't just labeled Justice League. Because also they might want to get I don't know what their plan is, but Justice Society to me is just so much cooler.
Right.
And you got to realize, in this movie that we're getting, you're only getting Atom Smasher, Dr. Fate, Hawkman, and Cyclone. You're not getting Jay Garrick, your Green Lantern, like Alan Scott, Green Lantern, even Hawk Girl, and all these other members as well. Like, obviously we've seen them on Stargirl. And fun fact, Cyclone wasn't even meant to be in the movie. It was originally meant to be Stargirl.
Right.
You're going to get the cinematic Stargirl, but then they did the show and everything like that. And also, I don't know what the role is specifically for these heroes, but it must be said, it looks like it's in the JSA is completely in modern day. So your Alan Scotts, your Jay Garricks, and everything like that could have existed 50 years ago.
Yeah, so that's what Anthony's asking here. I think there's a chance we could still see those characters, but I don't think this movie is going to be focusing on.
I think they'll name drop them because it looks like it's set in modern day Egypt. That's where it looks like Atom Smash is running through. It looks like modern day Cairo or something like that.
Yeah. Hey, Cyber, I don't know what you're doing, but we're about to talk about the Doctor Strange trailer. If you want to jump on quickly and chat about that, I can send you a link. Just let me know in the chat. and I'll send it over to you. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think there's any issue with DC's movies at all. I think that the movie side of DC seems to be very promising in 2022. And you're right, though. Aquaman has a lot riding on it. It was $1 billion movie, and it's got a lot of controversy around Amber. All right, I'll send you the link. You can just jump in whenever you're ready. We'll talk about this the Multiverse of Madness trailer. Our thoughts on that. So, or what we saw, because like I said, I think there was 2 different trailers, and I think I saw both of them, but I'm not totally sure anymore. So out of the 4 DC movies that are coming out, which one are you the absolutely most excited to see now out of the ones that we've seen the previews for?
It's between Flash and Black Adam. I'd say Flash because of the main character. I'm excited for Black Adam because of the JSA. So I'd say Flash just because of that, but I don't know, it'd be flip of the coin for JSA and Flash.
You know what I'm really excited for is Dr. Fate. I want to see Dr. Fate in a live action movie where they can really give him like the full scope of his power.
That's the thing. I don't think people are ready for Dr. Fate. I don't think they realize how cool of a character he is. Like, no offense to Doctor Strange, but he's about to get his ass pounded.
Do you like the helmet. Wait, you're not watching Young Justice? I was going to ask you what you think of the Dr.
No,
Fate
I had to tap out of
that. But Dr. Fate, it's really strange because he's one of those characters where when you are literally at the end of your rope and you're like, we need someone to come do something, that's the person you call. When Superman's been defeated, when you know there's no lanterns left, when the world is just about to turn on fire, you call that guy because nobody really wants to work with him per se, but he's extremely powerful. And I don't think people understand how powerful he is. So Lillian says, wait, who is Dr. Fate? I think you need to go read some comics, Lillian, or at least watch some of the animated stuff. He's in almost every animated thing. He's in the Dark series. He's in the Justice League Unlimited. He's in Young Justice. He was on the Teen Titans card. He's been in pretty much every cartoon franchise there is, I think. Or there's always been stories that
maybe the original Justice League one. I can't remember if it was in that one.
Yeah, maybe.
Ow.
So, all right. I guess Cyber's getting things together. So let's do something quickly.
If you want, you can just Google it, I guess. But they're using the Kent Nelson version because there is multiple versions of Dr. Fate.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. I want to this is going to be our little slideshow here for a moment. Wait for it to process. I want the chat to participate in this as well. This is for Valentine's. This is our special Valentine's.
Wait, this isn't from the OnlyFans, is it? Because that might get us banned.
No, but it could be great for that if you want. It is Arrowverse ships ranked. Sort of. It's 5.
Oh, God.
It's the 5, my favorite 5 or unfavorite 5 Arrow ship ranked ships. It's a lot of shipping there. So we're going to go through these briefly, and I want the chat to chime in and see what they think about this. Here we go. Number 5, Ben's personal favorite, Caramel. Cyber made it just in time for the Arrowverse shipping stuff. I think that this is this is pretty hilarious because this started out as one of like these like, oh, we love these two together. And then people just started hating Mon-El, and that was it. That was the end of it after that.
That was the RIP the dream.
So yeah. So this is number 5 here. And I want the chat to tell me what they think about Caramel, because I think it's peak Arrowverse relationship, right? I think I ranked it too low at number 5, maybe. Okay. All right.
No comment.
Number 4, Olicity from Arrow. Now, I almost put this at number 5. Let me tell you why it's at number 4. Because this ship ruined an entire season of a show. Season 4, which is why this is number 4, is Olicity. I don't necessarily hate this relationship. I think it's fine. There's not anything particularly wrong with the two of them together, but it did ruin. Would you agree that this pretty much was like at the beginning of season 4 when they're in their house in the suburbs together and they're making breakfast? I think this was kind of the.
Well, don't you have failed this omelet tattooed on your shin or something like that?
I mean, somewhere.
Your ass.
Now, Cyber, you watched all of Arrow, so I don't know. What did you think of the two of them?
I liked it at first.
Keep it simple.
That's it. I liked it at first. It was just downhill from there.
Oh, there we go.
Steep slope as well.
All right, here we go. Number 3, West Allen from The Flash. Now, I put this one dead in the middle because my issues with this relationship have nothing to do with the two of them together. I think they're absolutely fine together as a couple. My issue is this feels like it's adjacent to everything else on the show. It does not fit well with the actual premise of the show. It feels like it's always tugging at the elbow of the main story. So I find issues with that. But other than that, the two of them are fine together. But the show really tries to drill this in the head of the viewers. Now, Cyber, you're not watching The Flash anymore, are you? You stopped.
I am not. Yeah, I stopped. I'm not caught up on it. I do watch your rant and reviews, mm-hmm. Or I'll keep up on it that way. But for the most part, no, I did stop watching it. It became too repetitive to watch week in and week out, in my opinion.
Well, Paigey, what did you think of this relationship? Is this what you watched the show for?
Of course. It's why I tune in every single week with my various fan arts that I've drawn.
How many Stan Twitter accounts do you have with hashtag West Allen?
There were 7, but 5 were deleted due to constant harassment of non-West Alleners.
Oh, okay.
I think the issue is that it's like a ball and chain on the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no matter where you go, it's going to be lingering behind you.
Yeah.
And in some cases, you'd be walking up a hill. It's not easy walking up a hill with a ball and chain on your ankle. So I think that's, as you said, it's fine. And then I think in a lot of cases, Iris isn't a character. She's just she's just the West in the West Allen. And that's her purpose in a lot of areas on the show sometimes. I think they've moved on from that. But I think in a lot of like that, especially that middle chunk of the series, from season 3 to 6, halfway through 6, maybe. That's where, as I said, good chunk. But
so the majority of the series was basically
1 to half of 6, 7, 8. So it's about half, yeah. I guess maybe just under half.
All right, let's move on to number 2.
Who are the other 2? What's number 1?
Well, Ava Lance for me is number 2 because as much as I don't like Legends, I actually think that these two are good together.
Oh, I know what number 1 is.
So I have to give credit where credit is due. I think they've handled this relationship really well, even though I think Sarah had to be changed as a character to make this relationship work. I still think it's a non-toxic, healthy relationship between a person and a robot.
Oh, yeah, it has to be. I guess it's Lois and Clark is number 1.
Yeah, so let's move on to number 1.
Spoilers!
Yeah. I thought it was Gary and Constantine. Sorry.
No. So the reason why this is number 1 for me is I think this is probably the unequivocal best representation of a healthy relationship.
Wait,
on
hold
TV.
On. Where's Goldface and Amunet Black?
Well, they're number 6. We were just doing the top 5, so they're number 6. So
okay.
They were just out of the top 5.
That's fair. That's fair.
I will say though that this show probably to me is the one like romance type storyline that doesn't make me go like every time I see stuff on the screen or whatever. But I think this is the best representation. I think a lot of the shows should probably take note from Superman and Lois on how to handle like proper. But you know what? Maybe it's this. Maybe it's the fact that this is an older couple in the Arrowverse. They're not like young love. It's like they've been together for a while, and Clark's got his podcast, and Lois has an Etsy store and they're not around each other enough to get on each other's nerves. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Either way, it works for me. I think this is the best ship in the Arrowverse. I don't know if anybody agrees or disagrees, but I think this is the best one. This is the personification of Valentine's Day, which is why I thought I'd make them number one in our relationship ranking poll here. Black Lightning and his wife. That is a very dangerous and tumultuous relationship. So we left that one out of the list. But so Wildmore would not be in the top 5. It's still too new.
Will that be alongside Goldface and Ammunition?
Yeah, there's some that are just so new or either so undeveloped. I didn't think it was like worth it putting in the top 5, but that's my top 5 relationships ranked. I know everybody it was like a burning thing for them. They wanted to
yeah, I didn't even know the list existed until I popped in here, and I couldn't wait to see what number 1 was after we started. So
right. Okay. All right. So now we're going to be talking about the last thing, because we were going to do a quiz, but our friend Benjamin is not here. So we will save that for something we're going to announce at the end of the stream. So just stay tuned for that.
It's not anything X-rated as well, so
no, it's not.
Mine's out of the gutters as well.
Metron with a $2 super chat. Do you think Peacemaker shows up in the Blue Beetle film? I don't know why. Why would he? I mean, is there a connection that I'm not making there, or I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, maybe there's always a chance he could, but I don't know. Cyber, are you watching Peacemaker at all?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's good.
In place of the after party this week, I think we should do a stream where we talk about the ending of Book of Boba Fett, because we haven't had a chance to talk about that. And our thoughts on the whole series, and the finale for Peacemakers this week. So we'll probably do that as our stream over the weekend, since Omega, hopefully his computer's working.
He's got his computer working now, and spoiler alert, I may have something in the works this week as well.
Okay, well, that's good. All right, so Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness trailer. So much stuff happened in this trailer, or trailers, because I think there was 2 different versions again.
There was 2 different TV spots.
Sam Raimi. I mean, I honestly didn't expect this from him as a director. I know he's known for his more like grounded take on like big visuals, and I think that's something that everybody has brought up looking at the trailer. Paigey, did you like the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies? Did you like all of them? Did you like the direction he did with that, or
I like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah,
good
film. Very good.
I think I like Spider-Man 1 based off nostalgia more than anything, because it came out when I was like 7 or something like that.
I get that.
So I went to the movies. It was like, oh my god, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 3, like I don't hate it, but it's just like it's like a whatever.
There were some interesting decisions in Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, like you can tell he didn't fully make that movie. Like he was using his techniques, but it wasn't under control.
I think they were trying to sell toys with that movie.
I think they were just trying to make money.
Yeah,
but
maybe,
which I guess toys.
They could have subtracted like 3 villains out of that movie and still had a perfectly fine film. It was like they just tried to overload it with way too much stuff. Is a problem with that movie.
Would that be foreshadowing for what we see in this trailer for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness?
I don't know.
Be the irony. I don't know. Is that a warning sign?
So you weren't here earlier, Cyber. We talked about this, and you've said this quite a bit on the podcast as well, that everything has to be a surprise now. Like there's like
I know where you're going with this. Yeah.
Shang-Chi, I think, was a movie where I didn't expect anything. I just wanted a really good movie, and it was a really good movie, right? Whereas it's like the opposite of most DC and Marvel things right now is, who is the secret character going to be? What is the twist going to be? What are we going to see? Is like the after credit scene? People are worried about an after credit scene before they've even seen the movie at this point. So after you saw this trailer, do you think that this movie runs the risk of that, or are you getting Spider-Man No Way Home vibes where it's going to be good enough that it doesn't matter how packed it is, full of stuff?
No, real quick, I think the movie's going to be good. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be action packed and a lot of deep cuts for a lot of the comic book fans. I do think there'll be a lot of confusing moments for people that don't know what's happening. But at the same time, if you're watching Doctor Strange, you should expect that stuff. But yeah, no, I'm tired of the. Is it this character? It serves no purpose to hide them. And I've talked about it multiple times, and I know where you're going with it when we get to it in this trailer. And yeah, I'm already against it. I think that they should show. I don't see the purpose why they hold it. It's just it's done.
No, I'm not using BuzzFeed for its artistic editorials. I just want to use it for pictures because it's easier than pausing the trailer. But we get a shot here of the cape with this patchwork in it. The cape gets damaged and they have to repair it. So he has this like blue like thing on the cape. The cape is this weird like lovable character that isn't really like every time he's in the cape is in something. Even in the animated stuff, people just love the cape. Do you like the idea that the cape is a sentient thing and that the other versions of Doctor Strange's capes may also be sentient? Do you think that's a good idea, bad idea in the long run? Thoughts on it? Any thoughts?
You could do something cool there where the cape controls.
Yep.
The contrape.
Lucky it was that and not something else, but the cape controls. Eric's nervous. I can tell.
That monetization, boy.
The cape controls one of the variants of Doctor Strange.
Oh, you mean sort of like the Doc Ock arms corrupted?
Yeah, something like that. There could be something cool like that if they wanted to do that. I don't know. Maybe that's too late to add it in. But yeah, like I guess it matters what the movie is. Like I don't know if you like the cape flying around and animating itself would work in this movie if it's going to do that. It's almost like a comedic relief sort of thing.
I think there's a variant of Doctor Strange that doesn't even have a cape. I think we see like the Defender Strange who's just wearing a suit without a cape, I believe. If I remember correctly.
It looks like he looks like a part of the Bat family. It looks like
it's really interesting. So we'll go down here. They talk about the watch being broken time. Oh, we have America Chavez for the first time. We're seeing her in action,
which looked really good.
Yeah, she's got the ability to open portals to the multiverse without using magic. It's just her powers, and she's obviously it's alien in origin. I don't know what this creature is here, and I've tried to research this.
No, that's the bands of oh my god. The mummy, or not the mummy, but the bands that he uses, the power that he calls on. Chat, help me. It's like cryo, Ceretic. Who is it? I'm looking it up right now.
In other words, it's the thing that he locked up.
Sidorak. Jeez, that's who it is.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was drawing a blank there.
But it's actually the source of the empowerment. Is that what you're seeing here? Like the full-fledged like demon or magical creature? Is that what we're seeing? I wonder. Something along those lines. I mean, Sidorak is powerful. Like, I don't know how powerful they'll make it in the MCU, but that's a strong entity right there. Well, in America Chavez, her powers to open portals, circumventing magic, means that she's going to be hunted for that power, because that is something that she can just jump from universe to universe, and there's no boundaries for her. And I do believe this is going to be, if I remember correctly, maybe it was in the leaks or not, but she's a character that has to be protected because she is being hunted. So I think that's the point of her character here in the movie.
Right. I think that is also correct.
Okay. We see they're obviously Doctor Strange using chaos magic was another thing that people brought up on social media, that the red is Wanda's source of power, and he's sort of using it here in the pictures. Let me blow the page up a little bit, make it easier to read. And so we see that in the shots here. And I did notice he has the eye around his neck, which is interesting. Did he wear that pendant even after the stone was out of it, or was it just gone? I don't remember.
I think he did. Just doesn't have the time stone in it.
Yeah, because didn't he in No Way Home, didn't he open it and show that it wasn't there anymore? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did, yeah.
But does it have any power is the thing. I mean, I don't imagine it.
Maybe it's just for like drip. I don't know, something like that.
I mean, it is pretty hot, so
drippy.
So we see that, and then we obviously see Christine here with They're saying this is her future husband. Is that confirmed or not confirmed? I'm guessing it is. I mean,
Well, it looks like a groom.
That's what I thought, but
Yeah.
I don't know who this character is. So
I don't think it's relevant. I mean, maybe it is. I could be wrong. I think it's just. I don't think this is our timeline, right?
Yeah, this is obviously another version.
So I don't think we're going to. I think it's just going to be a scene.
Well, maybe this is because does she get blipped?
I don't know.
Because Doctor Strange got blipped, so he was gone for 5 years.
Right.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. But I still think this could still be a multiversal version.
Oh, yeah, easily could, but I think
Yeah.
it depends if she got blipped or not.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. And then we have here Wanda's fingers turning black like Agatha's, which I thought was pretty interesting. What do you think of the new suit? Because that's obviously a modified version of Wanda's suit. I think I like it better than the TV show version. It looks a little bit darker.
I pretty much like anything that she's like doing. Like she does a phenomenal job in that role, and they do a phenomenal job with the suit now. I mean, before it was just a jacket, but you know what I mean.
I am hoping, and I know that it may not happen, but I'm hoping that they show her facing off against a version of Doctor Strange. I want to see a battle between her and Doctor Strange with magic.
Oh, that's 100% happening. That's 100% happening. Yeah. That's 100% happening.
Let's see. The door we see Doctor Strange, America, and Christine open and finally get a look at the nexus of all reality from the comics, which, if you remember, this is very similar to what we saw in Loki. Like the way it looks is visually very, very similar to that, with just a few differences. But I'm wondering how they're going to address Loki and what happened there in this movie. Because obviously with Wanda being here, they're going to connect it with WandaVision. But the events of Loki obviously made this possible. So
yes.
Do you guys think they'll cover it in the movie or no?
Doctor Strange seems to think he's the one that did this. He thinks that he opened
the one that broke it. The one that broke it. But I'm wondering if they're going to address that the multiverse exists because of Loki. Because that's the only reason we even have it now.
I don't think they know. So probably not. I mean, he might show up. I don't know. There was like a plot leak, like a few months ago, that had the main things that happened in the film, and most people were just like writing it off as nothing. But apparently, a lot of it was pretty accurate based on this TV spot. And I think it mentioned Loki. I don't remember.
So does this go back to the whole like too many things that could possibly happen scenario, and people just going into the movie waiting for a surprise? Do you think Spider-Man No Way Home has spoiled movies like this moving forward, like this and Flash, with like the who is this character? Like I wonder if that's gonna be a thing.
I think it's more spoiled the fact that no one's going to be surprised because you're going to get all these scoopers that it's going to be who can spoil what first. Like,
that's accurate.
What it's going to be. Like, unfortunately, we can all sit here and go, I can't wait to see who shows up, but we're all going to know. If you have a Twitter account or anything like that,
it's going to be spoiled for you. Yeah. And that's what brings me back to, can we stop with the fake teases? Because they're fake, because everyone knows.
Oh, you mean like we got this covered and all of the different people coming out?
Well, no, I mean, just like in general, like with No Way Home, when they went out of their way to not show you the Spider-Man, and which I understand why they did it, but in the long run, I still think that was, like, it was great for the theater experience. I still think it would have been better. That movie itself is probably the worst example to give, but like Kingpin and you know, like that, I think that stuff.
You know what's funny about that is when we saw that shot in the second episode, people spent the rest of the series waiting for him to appear.
Right, and I think that means that your writing is not strong enough if you have to live on a cameo. You know what I mean?
What about Ralph Boner? What about him?
Yeah, same thing, in my opinion.
All right, so we also get to see Doctor Strange handcuffed, and he's being walked through this building that looks so technologically advanced, and it looks like Ultron bots, but with Iron Man faces. And a lot of these weird statues that remind me a lot of Loki's show, just in gold instead of like silver instead of the gold from the series. And we go into this room. This is where all of the internet got broken when this happened. So apparently, everyone is pretty much in a consensus that this is a version of the Illuminati from the comics.
Correct.
Paigey, would you say that's pretty accurate?
Yes. Yeah. Like I remember
Yeah.
like I remember the like the Black Panther comic from like I think it's like the 2009 run or something like that, like focused on like the Illuminati. It was the one where like they thought T'Challa died.
Yeah.
I think whatever that run was, and they were in it. But that's like sort of like the longest my Illuminati knowledge goes.
Well, basically, from what I know, because they've shown up in several different things, it's just a collection of really intelligent or influential characters in the Marvel universe, like Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Professor X, Reed Richards, and then they floated through other characters as well. But
yeah, Tony Stark, Professor X.
Yep. So it looks here like they're saying that's Reed Richards because you can see the little 4 up on his chest. A lot of people say that could be another version of T'Challa. Which, by the way, if they want to if they want to recast T'Challa, this would be the opportunity for them to do it. To have a version of Black Panther show up here that sticks around and stays in the main continuity. That would be the easiest way to do something like that. Also, we could see Reed Richards introduced here because we know now, based on them using it in the trailer, that we hear Patrick Stewart's voice speaking to Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are saying maybe this is the cartoon version because when they're breaking through realities in the trailer, you see an animated world in there.
Right, which I just think that was unfinished CGI, honestly. Like, it doesn't make sense to show that and then show this one as live action. That serves no purpose. If it is,
it seems like a gimmick to me more than making too much sense. Like, because we're led to believe like the What If series, it's just like a variant timeline and stuff. Like stuff plays out really similar and then just sort of veers off one action, or someone tries and messes with it. I know why you would do the animated stuff. I think it's just that's more of like a gimmicky thing than really making too much sense.
So but the bigger question is, are we excited about this version of Professor X coming into the fold? Is this something that we all really want, or is this something that they're just going to tease us with and then he's going to go away because it seems like he may get killed off in
it wouldn't surprise me too much if they killed him off, and then
I think all of the Illuminati people are going to die.
I think they're going to use expendable people that for cameo purposes, but also to show, I don't know, whoever it is that kills them, whether it's Wanda, whether it's an evil Doctor Strange,
could be Kang
if he's in it. I'd expect them all, if maybe one or two might survive, they can get away, but I'd expect because I don't know why you would use Patrick Stewart.
Right. That was
you're going to use one that's going to sit around and last when you use James McAvoy.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like, you'd want to go with that slightly younger version. But Patrick Stewart to me has been the quintessential, he's the better casting of Professor X, but he's also got his show Picard, which that's the only thing he's really filming right now. And even that is, he says that's not, he's doing that, but it's not something they do like in a month. He's not even really, super involved with that one.
I have a question. Was there ever a old casting rumor for Namor?
There's been a couple. What was it, like Daniel Day Kim that was in like Hawaii Five-0? Wasn't he one that they were?
Because if they're going to use Namor here, will they use like sort of like a fun thing where if like you were in with the rumors and stuff, it would be like a surprising moment or a cool moment if they were Namor.
Yeah. I would love to see that because Namor has been connected to the Illuminati in the past. So.
Yeah, because if they're using a past version of Reed Richards, are they going to use the guy, whatever his name is, Owen?
John Krasinski? Is that who you're talking about?
No, the one from the two Fantastic Four movies, Owen, whatever his name is.
Oh, yeah. Would they use him? I mean, they might. They might bring him back.
He still looks... He doesn't look too old.
No, and I don't think, other than the movies being cheesy, I don't think he was a bad casting for Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four.
As I said, if they all die, it doesn't matter.
The only casting I didn't like in the Fantastic Four movies was Invisible Woman. I thought that was just not a good casting. But
I think the only thing is, I wonder what would your reaction be if they use Ansel Elgort's Black Bolt?
I want to see Chris Evans' Human Torch.
Okay, so here's the deal with Black Bolt. If they do bring
Imagine
him back,
this,
if they bring
blood
Black Bolt back
everywhere.
from the TV show and make him like put him in the mask with the tuning fork on his head and the wings and want to give us a real Black Bolt, I'd be okay with that. Wouldn't have an issue with that at all. The show just sucked. But I don't think he was a bad casting for Black Bolt. They just
What if
used him
he's
wrongly.
the exact same and just looks at you but doesn't do sign language, right?
I don't know. I have no idea. I actually would not have an issue with Black Bolt. But Black Bolt is very OP though. That's the thing, is he's a character where he can just win a situation from one scream. So I don't know. Quinlan says, at this point, if Black Panther 2 doesn't do well, I'm fine with the franchise ending and moving on. I miss Chadwick, but it sucks if the film and the actors don't get a chance to tell great stories because of fear of backlash from a recast. So, and I said this on Twitter, I've always been worried about a recast of Black Panther because of Chadwick, but I think if it's a multiversal version of T'Challa, I don't think people would be as upset about it. I think if they just recast the version that we know, people would probably be mad, because then it's almost like Chadwick never played the character. And I don't think they want to do. I mean, I don't know. I'm not
Eric,
sure. What are you going to say?
Who was the showrunner for Inhumans?
Scott Buck.
Who's more to blame, Jeff Loeb or Scott Buck for Inhumans, according to Ragu? He said to blame Jeff Loeb for Inhumans. Are you blaming Scott Buck or Jeff Loeb?
I'm going to say Scott Buck because he also ruined Iron Fist season 1. So it's more likely his creative direction that ruined the two shows.
I would love an interview with Scott Buck live on the Eric's Reloaded channel.
Because think about this. How much better was Iron Fist season 2 than season 1? It was like,
It was much better, but they had to build off of the nightmare that was season 1, so it couldn't do but so much.
So yeah, for me, I think Scott Buck bears the blame a lot of that.
Well, apparently he got blacklisted from Hollywood or something.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know,
oh darn,
he got the reason why he got the option to do so many things is Scott Buck is one of those guys where it's like, you know, I'll give this person $50,000 to do the series, right? And then Scott Buck would come along and say, I can do it for 35. And they'll say, oh, you're the guy we're going to take. And that's what happened. He lowballed the Iron Fist and the Inhumans show. They thought they were going to get like this Game of Thrones with Inhumans season 1, and it ended up being like a comedy. It was just silly. It was stupid. So yeah, there we go. We get a shot here of Doctor Strange sort of breaking apart. It looks like he's showing different versions of him sort of melding together with the Doctor Strange that people are saying could be from What If, may not be from What If. We're not really sure. It's definitely not the best version of Steven. There we go. Talking about being a necromancer. And then we get the shot here where people don't know if this is like, you know, Monica, or if it is another version of Captain Marvel, or if it's some people were saying Phoenix. I don't know. Some people were saying it's going to be Iron Man.
I'm saying that at this point, if you try to figure something out from a Marvel trailer as something that may, like if you try to build a story around it, look, they're not going to show you something. They're not going to show you a new character here and then not show you Professor X. But you know what I mean? They're not going to show you. They're not going to show you Phoenix here if they're not going to show you Professor X.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is more than likely Monica Rambeau, and I think we shouldn't read too hard into it. That's who it is.
Which, by the way, everything in this picture tells me that's who it is. Like when I'm looking at this, this reads like Photon to me, like Monica Rambeau.
But it's Maria Rambeau.
Yes. Yeah. Photon.
I mean, yeah. Either way, it's going to be a character that we can all see and like connect to. If it was Phoenix, that would be such a bigger moment. No offense to.
So
Rambeau,
it is confirmed to be Maria because it says IMDb states her stunt double. So there we go.
But obviously, I'm assuming that they're just going to do on another Earth instead of Carol Danvers being exploded.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It could be Monica because this could be the Monica version of Photon. It could be the Maria version. We're not sure who this is, but I think it is definitely the Photon character, the other Captain Marvel from the comics. I do believe. So anyway, Naruto did have a super chat from a while back. I don't know how I missed it, but it says, I'm a little behind. Just wanted to say, don't forget Crisis aired in 2 parts, 3 parts in December and 2 in January. They could do that again if they needed to. I'm not really sure what that was in reference to, because I don't think we ever said.
I remember we were talking about how the shows had to line up, but we're more talking about like, because in that case, they were all the episode 9s or something. So they just moved them. Like some ended episode 8 and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean so that the other shows could line it up to make it one story or whatever?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess Naruto, but I still feel like they have to sacrifice an episode to tell a story. That's how they get those movies out of them. And I don't know if a lot of the newer shows that are non-Arrowverse related, because could you imagine if Stargirl did a crossover episode with the characters from the Arrowverse when her like series literally has nothing to do with any of those other shows? It would be so confusing for everybody watching it. So it's one of those things where is the juice worth the squeeze when it comes to like,
what a term.
I don't know, maybe
the juice worth
the squeeze.
I didn't say
it. See, some people are saying it looks like Jean Grey. I saw that.
It's not Jean Grey. It's not even close to Jean Grey.
and then this is why BuzzFeed is funny to me, because at first, before the toys were released, I was also thinking this was going to be Schuma, but it's been pretty much confirmed that it's Gargantos now from the toy line, and it's been confirmed for so long. Not sure why.
I think, to be fair, it is Schuma Gorath, but they can't use him because of licensing.
So I feel like here's the thing. I feel like whatever this monster comes from, they're never going to say its name. I think they're going to fight it because unless it speaks, like it's not like they're going to be like, "Who are you?" while he's ripping up the city, right? So I think,
like
yeah, exactly. It's here's big monster, let's fight it. I don't think they're actually going to say who it is, but I do feel like I don't think it's Schuma. I think if they use Schuma in this way, that is a big disservice considering what they did with Dormammu, and that just proves that Doctor Strange's villains are just too powerful, even though Wanda is going to be broken.
So I couldn't remember why they couldn't use Schuma, because I remember hearing this back like when the first Doctor Strange movie came out, but it's because of the fact that the origin of Schuma comes from a series that was not published by Marvel, and then Marvel acquired it, the Conan series. And so that is still tied up with the Conan rights, which is a separate thing from Marvel. So, like Paigey was saying, visually they're just going with Schuma, even if they call it something else.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel as well. I don't think they're ever going to mention its name. He might be like, "Oh, that's because at this point it's not a villain that he's used to fighting. It's not like he's going to be like, because we've seen his origin story, so it can't be like, "Oh, this is my old nemesis, Schuma Gorath." You know what I mean?
I already know what one of the lines in this scene or around this area of the movie is going to be.
What is that?
It's Mike Wazowski, because it's another Disney property. I bet you there's a Mike Wazowski name drop during
something like that.
America Chavez says it,
and I'm almost positive this is probably the beginning of the film, and it's not going to have any significance on anything else.
It's too much light compared to the rest of the movie, I think, for this to be too later into it. It seems before shit hits the fan.
I wonder if this creature like Gargantos and the bands and all of that, if they're all hunting America, and that's why she's seeking out Doctor Strange to help defend against all of these things looking for her. Because Schuma, as powerful as it is, if it had access to being able to travel the multiverse unrestricted, that would make it very, very, very dangerous. So do you think the tentacles that we saw in the What If series are going to be from this creature?
What was that doing in the What If? I can't remember.
It just was a portal with tentacles. We
never we never saw it really. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they can connect it where maybe that was America Chavez running from him and opening portals to make him go away.
Oh, they could make that.
But then he never really came fully through. So I don't know. Maybe that was to get him stuck or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, then we get the shot here of them in this garden, which ends up, or not really a garden, but like a little forest area that's probably just a illusion to where she actually is. Maybe, possibly. One of the cooler parts that we see, I don't know if it's going to show it, this right here, where we get to see Wanda in the WandaVision house with another version of herself that seems to have broken even further than she did in her reality. Do you think this is a crossover thing, or do you think she's manifesting this? I'm a little bit confused.
I think it's another version of herself. I think it's another variant.
I wonder how this is going to play to people that haven't seen WandaVision, because this seems real specific.
I think they're going to. I think again. I said this movie before we even started is going to have a lot of deep cuts, and they're going to loosely explain stuff that's happening. And again, if you're watching a Strange sequel and you didn't see like No Way Home, like his movie is so tied to other things happening that if you watch this and you don't know what's going on, I honestly feel sorry for the viewer. But at the same time, if you're watching this, you hopefully you've caught up with everything because. There's going to be a lot of deep cuts.
This shot gave me chills because that version of Doctor Strange looks freaking insane. Like in a good way. That's like, it's like he did this form and then he just kept it. Like, this is just how he is now. I mean, that's, do you think we're going to get like a bunch of different Doctor Stranges, or do you think it's just one evil version versus our version?
It looks like he's got like souls attached to him. Like,
yeah,
you can see like skulls and stuff on the cape.
I think this is going to be like one of those Doctor Stranges that sought out power by stealing it from other things, and it did that to him.
Maybe
like
this version,
life force or something out of people.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if this Doctor Strange did something similar to the one from What If to defeat Thanos. Maybe he's just this evil, corrupted version that defeated Thanos by just getting more powerful. Because you have to remember that the version of Doctor Strange from Infinity War, he almost beat Thanos. He was really close. And
it was a great fight, I thought. Visually pleasing.
So I don't know. What else do we have here? Oh, this is the poster. So some people are showing that Peggy Carter is in here in the corner frame. And there's another shot up towards the top that people are saying looks like Deadpool. And apparently Ryan Reynolds teased that he was going to be in something on May the 6th, I think, which is the release of the Doctor Strange movie. Are you expecting a lot of what if stuff to come through in this film? Because it seems like it is going to connect a lot to the Disney Plus TV stuff.
Well, it's multiverse, so like I guess they'd use it, but I don't know if it'll be like a massive part of it.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely hi guys, and then that's it. Like you can't think that anything outside of literally Strange and Wanda is going to have a huge impact other than the Illuminati, and not even going to have a huge impact in terms of like the movie. I don't think. I mean, I think they're going to have a role, but I do think ultimately they're all going to like get killed or whatever. I think the purpose of the Illuminati's impact here is so they don't have to write it into the main storyline. They can just throw it in this film and be done with it. But more importantly, they can show you other characters that you either haven't seen or bring back characters that are long gone. Like Tony could be there, and it could be Robert Downey Jr., could be Tom Cruise, could be whoever it wants, but they could do that and people would be like, oh, that's cool. And then move on from there. So I think that, yeah, a Deadpool could absolutely be in it. I think everything is up for grabs, and that's a good thing, but that's also like, because it's up for grabs, you can't expect any of it to have any major impact.
Right.
In my opinion.
Jon Snow Rules says Doctor Strange is so mad at Spider-Man. I mean, he can't be mad at Spider-Man because he forgot about Spider-Man, right? So
he knows Spider-Man, but yeah, you're right. He doesn't even remember. Let's not get into that.
So here's the deal.
Let's not get into that.
Last thing before we wrap this up. Technically, he should not even remember casting the spell. Technically, which means if Wong blames him for doing it, how can he? Because he doesn't remember doing it, right?
Magic.
Because if he didn't know about Spider-Man's secret identity, he would have no reason to cast the spell. So there you go. Do you think maybe he'll remember who Spider-Man is as Spider-Man, but not that he was Peter Parker? Maybe that's how they're going to get away with that. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm excited for it. I hope that it ends up being as impressive as the trailer is. And do you think it's going to make the same money as Spider-Man? Like the 1.8 billion dollar range?
No,
I think it might like 1.5 maybe.
So you think it will do $1 billion though?
I'd assume so, especially if they start. The thing is, they might go off tracking. They might see how much, the search engine stuff, how much people are looking up stuff, what characters people are looking up as well. Like they might go Doctor Strange, Mr. Fantastic, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, or whatever it is. And then
Namor, Black Panther, or whatever.
And you know what? Because they've already introduced Tobey Maguire, if he's going to be in this movie, they'll put him in a trailer. 110%.
How cool would it be for him to come back to Sam Raimi after all this time? That would be.
Well, that's the only
awesome.
reason I think he might be in this movie is because Sam Raimi's directing it.
Yeah. John Snow with the $2 super chat. Lastly, how long after No Way Home is this? I don't think we've had any confirmation on that.
Don't they say something about Westview?
Yeah, so we know that it takes place after it, but I don't know if we know how long.
I think doesn't it in the Spider-Man, the trailer that was after Spider-Man No Way Home, doesn't it mention like the months or something?
Oh, yeah, it might.
I think it might.
Yeah.
So you're basing it off WandaVision rather than No Way Home.
Right. That makes sense. Alexandra, at this point in the movies, are there any casual fans? The casual fans outweigh everyone else.
The casual fans are about 90% of the people that go watch the movie.
We unfortunately are the minority group of fans. And the reason why I know that is if we were not, things like what I do, what Paigey does, what all these other channels do, we would have millions of viewers doing this. Billions. And we don't because these movies make billions of dollars. So we would have a lot more people watching if there were people who were sort of in the circle, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well,
so in the Illuminati, as they would say.
Yeah.
I can tell you now that every film that we go to see, there's always one person that goes with us that's either barely watched any of the other films or only watches that specific character's films. So like if somebody's a big fan of Thor, they're only going to see the movies with Thor in it. Like Infinity War. They're not going to go see the original Guardians of the Galaxy because that didn't interest them. So those are the casual fans that we talk about.
So I will say this, though, based on Spider-Man No Way Home in the theater that we went and saw it in, I would say 95% of those people had not looked at any spoilers.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that. 100%.
All are pretending. One of the
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that there. Yeah.
Oh, my God, Matt Murdock. I didn't totally read that.
I'm going to pass this question off to Paigey. Is your Valentine war stew? Or
I mentioned before, my Valentine was Odell Beckham Jr.
That's right. You did confirm that earlier. So no war stew Valentines here, unfortunately. All right. So before we go, two things. One, the Weekly Geekly will return this weekend. It's going to be Cyber, myself, Omega. We're going to be talking about the Peacemaker finale and the whole series, basically.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking about...
Quick spoiler about that. I like it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that this weekend. And we're going to go over, since everybody should have watched it by now if they're going to watch it, it's going to be the Book of Boba Fett, a.k.a. The Mandalorian.
Spoiler alert, I didn't like it.
So we'll talk about that this weekend.
Wait, you did or did not?
Oh, you'll have to tune into the Weekly Geekly to find out.
Well, Eric's changing the name for 1 week.
Yeah.
Weekly
That's
Cheekly.
Fine. Oh, that's fine. That's fair.
Weekly Cheekly, yeah. The other thing we're going to be doing is the much anticipated game stream that we've been trying to set up is finally going to happen. It's going to be this Thursday with myself and Paigey, and hopefully DC TV show Ben will actually show up. And
instead of saying he's going to show up, not reply, and then not show up at all in a almost hour and 3/4 stream.
Yeah. So we'll be doing that on Thursday, and we're going to be playing games. And of course, you guys can ask questions about whatever you want, but we're basically going to be doing games. And I have a app or a website called Cahoots. I think is Cahoots with an S, where I have where I have some stuff set up in that, and then some Team Eric members will be able to join in and play along as well. And that's going to be on Thursday. So guys, look forward to that. But that's pretty much it. We're out of here. Cyber jumped in here at the last minute to talk about.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I was just like, I saw that you were live, and I'm like, wait, no one told me you were going live. Wait a minute. So
it was kind of a random thing. And then, of course, Cheek Munch down
Cheek
here
Munch,
joined in.
Cheek Munch TV show.
Yeah.
Oh,
see the picture? TV show.
Right.
It's Cheek Munch TV show.
That's true. So we're getting out of here, but I will see everyone later. Join us this Thursday and then this Sunday, and we'll see everybody then. There's no after party this week because there are no shows. So yeah, well, the after party will return the week after that. And then we have a huge announcement about the after party too that we'll talk about in a bit. So a lot of things happening. But anyway, we're out of here. So everyone have a good night. Have a good Valentine's.